Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my RP life. Follow me on Twitter. Join me on Facebook. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because this platform was created for you, the blind and visually impaired community, so that you can share your stories and what you go through. I am your host, Juan. So get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my RP Life podcast.
We had this special place that we always hung out at. And one morning, my sister had to go to the restroom, and she left her books with me. And she come out of the bathroom, and she sat down on the bench, and she was tying her shoe. And she, after she was done, she turned over, and she picked up a book, and she didn't realize it wasn't her book, and she had forgotten. And all of a sudden, this girl just started beating on her. Nine other kids started hitting her.
What?
And every guy
and guys too?
Yeah.
Oh, you lucky boy.
Just because she picked up the wrong book.
Just because she picked up the wrong book. Yes.
If I would have been there, man, listen. Go ahead.
Yes. Now, gather. I'm not around. I'm in our little cubby hole somewhere, and I don't know this is going on. Okay. And our friend Tracy comes and told me, and she says, Diane, you better get over here. 10 black kids are beating on your sister.
What?
And you better get over here. And you talk about a girl, blind, that has a vision problem, booking it down the hall to her sister. I did, and I almost hit a metal pole on my way. And when I got to where she was at, and I heard her saying, ow, quit hitting me, ow. The first person I saw, I started hitting. I took my fist and I started hitting her face with my right hand. And I didn't stop. And then the next thing I know, somebody hit me on the right shoulder. Tapped me on the right shoulder. I shouldn't say hit. Tapped me on the right shoulder, and then I was hit. I was told I was hit by a 2x4.
What?
Oh wow!
What?
Yes.
And this was all in school?
Yes, in the hallways.
Man.
Before school started.
How they get a 2x4?
And we thought schools in New York were rough.
Right? Shoot.
Before school was started, and this wasn't far from the principal's office. They could literally see this from the principal's office.
What?
If they looked out their windows. Yes.
I want to know how they got a 2x4 in the hallway.
Well, from the benches. From broken benches and stuff.
Broken bench. Yeah.
Yeah. And people just stood there and watched.
Wow. And
then the next thing I know, I was grabbed, I guess, from a teacher or something. And because all I could do after I was hit, because my glasses, at that time I was wearing glasses. And the next thing I knew, all I could do was hold my face.
Shoot.
And the next thing I knew, I don't remember anything after that, because I think I blacked out or something, because I remember being in the nurse's station in the in the school.
Yeah, well, you got hit with a 2x4. You got knocked out, girl.
And then we were told, we went to the state attorney's office, and we were told that we were going to go to courts, and that they were going to be charged with paying for our medical bills, and then they were going to be, and then which that's what happened. And then the courts also made them write an apology letter, which I disagreed with totally, because I don't believe in that. I believe that a letter should come from somebody on their own, not made from court.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that's forced, and that's not coming from your heart when you're forced. So, so then the school, they punished them by suspending them for 5 days, and then, to be fair, they suspended us for 3. Yes, which was okay because we needed to heal anyways.
Right.
So, so yeah. So that was our experiences in school. After that, nobody messed with us then.
Well, there you go. That's I guess a plus.
There was don't mess with the twins. They get it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I felt like a bad butt then.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
So,
right.
Diane, you mentioned before you have a daughter.
Yes.
And
I
how
do.
old is your daughter?
She'll be 25 in December.
So
And
what was
she's my sweetheart.
when you had her? How was your vision then?
It was a lot better than what it is now. I had to use a cane a lot more than what I do now. Yeah, it was pretty mediocre. I mean, it was. I didn't need sighted guide. I could still see TV quite a bit now. Like right now, I can't see TV very well. Yeah, it's. I could see print a lot better back then than what I can now. Yeah.
Was it difficult raising your daughter?
No, not really. She was really, really good. She was really, really good. She pretty much did what she was told, until it was hard when 17 came around, when the age 17 came around.
That's the good age.
When 17, yeah, 17 was hard for me with her. And I think that's because of the circumstances that was going on in her life. And she had a lot of turmoil in her life. And from the age of, I think it was 11, because of, and she was in 5th grade. She was molested in 5th grade. And that guy, when she was molested, that guy went to prison. But he only served, he was supposed to serve 12 years, but he only served 6. And the bad thing is when he got out, they brought him back to this county, and he has a restraining order. He's not allowed to be around her, and he was seen here in my area before she moved, He was seen in my area twice.
Oh wow.
Yes. So, so I wasn't thrilled about that. And then she's also been raped, and then her father not being in her life. Her father's not been in her life since she was 3.5.
Wow.
When she was 3.5, when she was born, we lived here in Florida, and then we were living with my sister, and my sister had met a guy from my ex-husband, and not my daughter's father, but another guy.
Mm-hmm.
And she had met this guy, and this guy that she had met got her hooked on drugs, and she had a daughter of her own, and the guy that she had met was in prison, was in jail, so she needed somebody to live with her. And so me and my daughter's father decided to live with her so that she could afford her little place. And so me being pregnant and then him, we lived with her. And then after I had my child, I found out that she had yes.
Yeah. Will you come back?
Oh, what do you need?
Your vitals.
You can do my vitals.
Oh, okay.
When she met him, he was on drugs, and she wanted to be with him, so she decided to try them. So she ended up getting hooked, and so when I got pregnant, I found out that she was still doing them, and I didn't want my daughter around him. So then we decided to move, and we moved up north, and I lived up north for she was 2 months old until she was 3.5, and then I moved back to Florida. And in those years, I'd also moved to for a couple of months. I had moved to Indiana to help a friend out because me and her father had separated for a few months, and that didn't work out. So I had moved to Florida, and he stayed in Ohio. And so when she was 3.5, it was just me and her that moved to Florida because, and I got custody because he had told me that I couldn't take my daughter just for vacation to Florida to visit my parents.
What?
Yes. And my parents said, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. So they hired a lawyer, and they said that I was going to get custody, and I did. And I've had custody of her since she was 3.5. And so she's been in my custody ever since. And but in 2008, for the first time, I decided to let her go visit her father because she wanted to go visit her aunt, his sister in Ohio. And I let her go visit her dad too. And I went with her. I didn't want her to go by herself. And we went by airplane. And he convinced me to stay. And I did. We stayed there. And I got comfortable enough to stay there. And at first it was hard. And then we stayed there, but then around Thanksgiving time, because we got there in June, and around Thanksgiving time, his boyfriend died. And I found him. I found his boyfriend, and
oh wow,
I really liked his boyfriend. His boyfriend was really nice. His boyfriend helped me.
Did you say his boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Go ahead.
Yes, because when she was 6 months old, I found out that the reason we weren't together is because
we didn't have interest.
Yeah. I found in 6 months, when she was 6 months old, that he was bisexual. That's why we aren't together. So, yes. So, anyways, when he died, I took that hard because we had become friends. And her father, that really hit him hard. And he was talking suicide, and he started becoming an alcoholic and smoking marijuana all the time. And I didn't want her around that stuff. And I didn't want her to find him dead one time. Mm-hmm. So I decided that I was going to come home, and I did. And while she hadn't seen him for a long time, I wouldn't let her. And then I eventually, when she got older, I eventually decided, okay, I'll let you go visit your dad. And I let her go by herself this time. And she didn't want to come home. She wanted to stay there with her dad.
Oh, wow.
She didn't like the rules that I had. So she told her dad that things weren't, that I was being abusive, Grandma was being abusive, things like that. And so her dad decided that he was going to call adult services on me.
And this is why you had custody, right?
No, I got custody way before then. I got custody when she was 3.5.
So you still, no. So you didn't have custody?
No, she did have custody.
I did have custody.
My bad. Okay.
No.
Go ahead.
I had custody. I got custody at 3.5.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. So then, anyways, and then when she turned 18, I got guardianship. I got legal guardianship when she turned 18. But when she went to go visit him, she told him all that stuff. And then when she come home, I had to get her home quickly because he tried to get her arrested while she was there. He got drunk and tried to get her for trespassing. Okay. And his boyfriend tried to get him to stop doing what he was doing, but he wouldn't. And the cops come, and the cops talked to me over the phone, and he was just out of control. He was throwing things in the background and just the whole 9 yards. And she was scared. And the cop says, well, if you can get her home, we can get her to the airport. So I didn't have the money. I was broke. I had spent all her check getting her there. So my friend, I asked my friend to pay for the ticket, and my friend did. His boyfriend paid for the cab to get her home. To get her to the airport. And then we got her there, and I talked to her till she got onto the airline, and then we got her home. And then that next Monday, I get a knock on my door, and it's social services. It's adult services. Her dad had called adult services on me, and I had already been involved with, guardianship courts because of me getting guardianship from the age of 18. And so I thought I hadn't heard from him for quite a few years because of not having any problems. Well, then all of a sudden, this. And after he filed that complaint, now I have to deal with guardianship courts every year now.
Wow.
Yeah, because of that now. They didn't find anything wrong with me. They didn't find anything wrong with my home. So they said the adult services says they were going to close the case. Well, they didn't. When they left, they just transferred it to guardianship courts. So guardianship courts contacted me, and I've been dealing with them for every year now. And they come to my home, they investigate me, they call Victoria, they talk to Victoria, and the whole 9 yards. So, but that's but before the incident of Victoria moving, what took place of that was Victoria has a lot of medical issues. And when Victoria was 3.5, she was diagnosed with ADHD. And then in middle school, one of her aides to her teacher come to me and told me that I needed to have her tested, that she was worried about Victoria. And I said, oh, and she said, yes. She says, Miss Arthur, she says, she's showing signs of schizophrenia. She says, something that my son had. She says, and she said, my son had that. And she said, and I came home one day from work, and she said, my son was severely depressed, she said, from it. And she said, and he hung himself. She says, and I don't want that to happen to your daughter. She says, and I want you to go and have your daughter tested. She says, because she's showing signs. And I said, thank you for telling me, and I'll go have her tested. And she was already showing something at the house to me, because she was sitting in the bedroom, and I heard her one evening talking to someone, and I asked her, who was she talking to? And she said, this person. And I said, what person? There's nobody here but me and you. And she said, they're standing behind the TV, Mom. And I said, there's nobody here, Victoria. And I said, what do they look like? I said, describe them to me. And she said, well, they look like a skeleton person. I said, a skeleton person? She said, yes. And I says, okay. And I
So who do I
"What
call? A priest or do I call her?
I said, what are they telling you? And she says, well, I don't really want to tell you, Mom. And I said, just tell me, Victoria. I said, I need to know. And she says, well, they're telling me to hurt you.
Oh.
And I said, well, how are they telling you to hurt me? And they says, well, they're telling me to go in and get a knife.
Oh, wow.
And hurt you. And from then on, I went and bought me a lockbox. And I locked everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I hid my keys to that lockbox. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I still didn't sleep very good.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. After somebody
I
telling
would
me
have had
that.
like 50 locks on my bedroom door.
Yeah. Well, see, the bad thing is, Juan, is we slept in the same room.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah. I had no choice.
to
That's
the
the way
hell
my
no.
house was.
Well, thankfully, you've gotten her help.
Yeah.
And she's doing well these days, correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
See, that's why I liked the medicine that she had, because it knocked her out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made sure she was asleep before I went to sleep.
Man, I would have strapped
Yeah.
her up. I'm like, no, we sleeping in the same room. I'm strapping you up.
Yeah. Yeah. So so she was diagnosed with that. She was diagnosed with schizophrenia in middle school and severe behavior disorder, and then and severe depression, and then we forward up to high school.
Mm.
Then high school come, and and they got that in middle school because they had to do that assessment,
Mm.
the psychological thing.
Mm-hmm.
And well, they had to do another one in high school, and the psychological, and so I think they did 2 of them in high school, and she was diagnosed with bipolar in high school, and it drew the line right there, is because she started getting violent then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she started getting violent, and it's one thing to get violent with me, but then you get violent with my mom.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. She didn't hurt me. But she did my mom, and
Oh,
physically,
man, I would have pulled out a
Yeah.
can of.
And yeah. So, it tore me up inside the first incident, she tore the shirt right off, the shirt right off the front of me.
Mm.
And yeah, and I don't know if I called the cops that time or not. I think it was the second time I called the cops. I can't remember which. But she had the cops called numerous times
Mm-hmm.
on her with those incidences. And the one incident, she got literally, they had to pick her up. And because she wouldn't leave on her own. It took more than one cop to literally pick her up off the ground, and they had to carry her out of my home. And they took her. They took her to a hospital, a counseling place, and they kept her at least 3 days. And they did that twice. And the last one, she got physical with a cop. She punched the cop, and he didn't press charges because he was told about her schizophrenia. And he put that into consideration because he said that he's lucky because if she didn't have that he would have pressed charges.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would have maced her ass. But go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't gonna touch her.
I
ain't gonna touch her, but I'll mace her. Go ahead, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I worked in a psychiatric hospital, and when someone with those conditions go through one of their episodes, it's scary to watch, and it's scary to have to be on that side where you have to defend yourself because they just get this strength and this anger in them.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
You know what helps with that?
What?
You put them in one of those vest things, and then you start raining on them. Go ahead.
Yeah, but first you gotta get them in one of those best things. That's not as easy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'll give them the rocks, people elbow.
It is not easy. You gotta either, put them in.
Listen, in my younger years,
I don't know what the correct term is for it these days, straight jacket, hug yourself all day long jacket.
Right? Loving yourself
or
and
the
shit.
restraining chair. So yeah.
The loving yourself jacket. That's what they call it.
But
What I was gonna say was, if that would have been me in my younger years, and I would have had a son like that, not a daughter, a son, and he would have tried ripping my shirt off and trying to put me out, I'd be like, man, I brung you in this world. I'm gonna take you out. Don't mess with me. Right? And then I just have to give him the people elbow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she got violent with the cop, and but they got her out that time. Within the last visit, my mom heard me and her arguing, and my mom come over, and I was trying to get Vicky to do chores, and I told her to. Vicky wouldn't do chores, so I told Vicky she had to come and unhook her machine or game system off of my TV. I said, because that is a privilege. I says, and if you're not going to do your chores, you need to get it off of my TV.
Right.
I says, and she wouldn't do it. Well, my mother heard us, and I didn't think I was yelling at her, but my mother thought I was. Well, so anyways, my mother come over, and since Vicky wasn't doing it, my mother started doing it. And Vicky didn't like the idea that my mother was out here messing with her stuff. And so Vicky just hauled butt out of the bedroom and come out. She took my mother's arm, and I mean, with the strength that my daughter's got, Victoria started punching my mother with one hand, and took the other one and started yanking my mother's arm with the other. And as she's doing it, the skin on my mother's arm just came completely back.
What?
On her arm. Yes. It rolled back on her arm. Yes.
I would have knocked the bipolar right out of her.
So I literally called 911.
Yeah, you
and
did the
911
right thing.
came, and they came and they tried to fix Mom's arm, and they couldn't get the skin to stay down. And so they did the best they could. They asked Mom if she wanted to go to the emergency room. She said no. She also asked if she wanted charges pressed, and Mom said no, because her cognitive level, Victoria's is, because she's got a learning disability, not just an eye disability, because her dad's side of the family, all of them got a learning disability. Vicky was born multiply handicapped. She was not just born with an eye defect. She was also born with a learning disability. And so her cognitive level, she's 25, but cognitive, she's 11. That's the way they explained it to me when they did the last psychological assessment on her. And so, anyways, the like the guy said, putting her in jail wouldn't really do any good. You know, taking her and sitting her down and explaining to her what you do, you know, what you did was wrong and why, is better than putting her in jail. So they and putting her into a hospital would be better for her. So that's what they did, is they put her into a hospital. So but Vicky's was that way because of the you know, like I said, the molestation and the rape came when right after my sister's death. And my sister's death will be it will be 8 years in 6 days, or is it 5? It's on the 7th of this month.
5 days.
5 days. In 5 days. It'll be 8 years.
I'll be right back, y'all. I gotta go do something, but y'all should chat it up.
Go ahead.
All right.
Okay. So that, I think that devastated her. I think that really devastated Victoria.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I think that's why Victoria's, from the age of 17 to the age of 22, I think I think that's why Victoria was very unruly with me, and did not want to take care of herself at home. Yes.
Well, like you said, the important thing now is that she's doing much better.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and that's a good thing.
Yes. Yes. When she turned 22, I decided to put her into a group home, and I contacted agencies with people with disabilities, and they did an assessment with her, and it's a long assessment. She was on their list for years, and then finally, here the last year of 22, I finally explained to them that the situation had gotten a lot worse, and that's when things had changed, and she became from a 7 to a 3, and that amount of time, and you know, because that's a big jump from a 7 to a 3 is a big jump. And 7 is not severe. 7 is a very minor of a, you know, of a stage, and then 3 is a severe stage. So that's where she's at. So yeah. So, but she's doing wonderful. At first, she didn't like it. She hated me, and she, you know, but now she says that was the best thing I ever did for her. So
and it's good. That's, you know, it's good that she can recognize that.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, that it was a positive thing for both you and her. I mean, I know it wasn't an easy decision, but you have to do, you know, in life we have to make the hard decisions and the hard choices.
Yeah.
You know?
And she's teaching those in there too, which is good.
Well, that's even better.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And she makes me proud every time I hear her doing it. So,
Oh, that's good.
yeah. So,
That's great.
yeah. So, but now I am, since she's moved out, now I found a new app, and this app is helping me mourn the separation of Victoria and me. And this the app is also helping me with the departure of my sister on this earth. And the app is called Clubhouse. And I have met wonderful, wonderful people on this app. I met you though, and Juan on WhatsApp.
Yep, we met on the group in WhatsApp. Yep.
Yes.
Clubhouse is great. Clubhouse, I strongly recommend Clubhouse for everybody.
I do too.
If you need, to be social or just come on over to Clubhouse.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've grown a family on here.
You'll meet people from different countries. Sometimes you meet somebody who's 20 miles away from you.
Absolutely.
You never would have met.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes. And yeah, and
if only we could get them to endorse our podcast.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. And I get to sing to my sister every day on this app, and I get to tell about her story on this app, and I get to help others. And hopefully touch. I definitely touch others.
Right.
I hear that every day.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and it helps me. So I just it does. But now I'm going through another obstacle in my life, and I'm scared, and but I'm so glad that I've got you guys, and that is the fact that I can't. I'm having a hard time. I can't walk. Yes. And
what happened? I'm back. My bad. You said you can't walk.
Yes.
Diane gave a shout out to Clubhouse. I said, yeah, too bad we can't get them to endorse our podcast.
Right.
Yes. Now I'm talking about my last obstacle.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, girl.
Yes. My mother passed away last week, everyone, and my mother which means we're going to have to eventually sell my parents' home because my dad has got Alzheimer's, and he's going to have to go live with my brother, and I used to live right next door to them, and so. Depending on where I live will depend on the circumstances that surround me at this moment, and that is depending on if I can walk when that time comes where the house is being sold. So I have to learn how to walk.
Right.
And what started that is one morning I woke up to go to the bathroom and I fainted. And when I got up, when I went to go get up, I used my knee that has rheumatoid arthritis and must have damaged it more, and went to a hospital and got an infection in it, and had an infection for a good 5 to 6 weeks, and damaged it worse. The infection damaged it worse, and pretty much it's bone to bone. and the only way to fix it is a new knee replacement. And I'm too risky right now to do that because of my health issues that occurred after my sister's passing.
Right.
And that is the COPD that I ended up enduring getting at the in 2017, and I got edema in 2015, and so right now I'm in the third hospital, and I've been in 2 rehabs, and right now the insurance has denied me to go into my 3rd rehab. So I don't know where I'm going to go at this point in time. The social worker says that he's not going to let me leave this hospital unless I have a safe place to go to.
Well, that's good.
So that's what he told me today.
Well, that's very good to hear.
Yes, because I told him that I was worried about that, because I know that insurances, they have a certain amount of time and then they can kick you out of a hospital.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, they can't kick you out. What it is the insurance will stop paying, and then it's everything on you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you got to work out with the hospital what your payment plan is going to be.
Yes. So that's pretty much where I stand, people.
Well, we wish you the best of luck on everything. You know, you are always in our prayers, Diane, because, you know, you are family to Juan and I.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you. You've always been like that with me.
And
You've
Grandpa
always been
Jose.
like that with me.
Don't forget Grandpa.
You're a good friend.
Oh, I love Grandpa.
Oh, don't get Grandpa started over there.
Hey, lady.
So, Diane, we're going to start wrapping this up. At the end of each podcast, we'd like to ask people, what's the best advice you feel you can give to somebody who is visually impaired or blind, or someone who's, you know, told that this is in their future?
Never, ever, ever let your blindness stop you from trying anything. Try to do it. I mean, don't say I can't. Do it. Just do it. Don't say no. Do it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get in front of a steering wheel of a car and try and drive, because you know you can't drive.
That you can't do.
You cannot drive.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. No. I'm not telling you to do that.
Not unless they got those things in the lanes and stuff. You know how many
or you're driving one of those cars that will drive you on their own.
Oh, self-driving cars, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
See, me, if I was to drive, all I had to listen to is that thing that goes. I'm like, okay, now I'm going straight. Okay.
Oh Lord, yeah, listen to that. But no, I mean, I'm telling you to do that, but I'm not trying to be crazy. But just, you know, try, if it's responsible enough, if it's safe enough and logical enough, try it. Don't say no, I can't. That's me. I've always been like that. That's my tip of the day.
That's a good tip. And also, what else they should do? They should have gratitude for what they have.
That's right.
Get a little plug for the hashtag Get Up and Grow Club on Clubhouse.
That isn't all, Debbie. Now, don't forget something else, too.
What?
Okay, you should always have gratitude and a random act of kindness. People.
That's right, from the No Judgment Club.
That's right. That's right.
Get on Clubhouse and check them out.
That's right, people.
That's free advertisement.
That's hashtag get up and grow and no judgment.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I will be listening.
And P.S. Check out my music room.
Oh yeah, and Diane's music room.
Yeah. All right.
All right, Juan,
So
you want to wrap us up, or you have any final questions for Diane?
all right. So Diane, if someone listens to this later on, is it all right they get in contact with you? Like, do you got a Twitter? I know you're on. I know you're on Clubhouse.
I'm on Facebook.
You're on Facebook.
I'm on. I don't go on Twitter much. I would prefer them to contact me either on Clubhouse or Facebook, or those pretty much those two.
Yeah, so y'all can follow her on Clubhouse and stuff if you wanna see what she does on Clubhouse on all these other different clubs that she's a part of pretty much every day.
Yeah, I'm on a comedy club called the Elite.
The Elite
Comedy Club. So yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Diane, for being here. Thank you to my beautiful Debbie for co-hosting. Love you, baby. Mwah. All right, so don't forget.
I told him to do that.
So don't forget. All right, baby, I'm trying to do the outro, girl. Okay, so don't forget, subscribe to me on YouTube. Give it a thumbs up on this audio. Go follow me on all the platforms Anchor puts me on. And you can also join our Facebook group, My RP Life Family and Friends, where it doesn't matter what kind of eye condition you have, whether it's RP, nystagmus, anything. It's not just specific to RP. I created that for the blind and visually impaired, and even for the sighted folks who, want to get some info on what we do and stuff like that, and what we can share. We do a lot of, sharing out with motivating everybody and sharing links and stuff like that. And if you want, you can also follow me on Twitter at MyRPLife. So I guess that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again, Diane, for being here. I really appreciate you being here. And give me one moment, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta find the button.
That was fun, guys. Thank you.
Glad you had a good time.
I can hear the demons call when they do what they do. And now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. Sometimes I feel like all is lost, but I know it's not true. I wanna put up all my walls cause I'm not in the mood, but then I cut myself off from the rest of the room. I know that time can heal it all if you're patient and soon. It can all be worth it, all the searching. Pain is never really permanent, but damn it hurts, man. I could feel all of the turbulence and it's concerning. I've been searching for a purpose, I hope it's worth it. This society is really trying me. Ain't no hide and seek, I hide to be far from anxiety. I need my space, I need my privacy. I need some silence, please, you're all too loud. You don't speak quietly, opinions violently thrown across every surface. It makes me nervous, it's the world honestly burning. That's all I'm learning, hope that we can make a turn and start reversing. All our minds and put the work in, we got some work, man. I can hear the demons call when they do what they do. And now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is This life is a nuisance, tie up some loose ends. I try to be human, find a solution, my evolution. A place like this, it didn't exist, we made it like this. So you can go pick the bad or the good, got a glass halfway. I know, it's easier to hide than just to lay low. Not everyone in life has got a halo. I'm standing in the red inside a payphone, just wanna break, no, I'm